Hi there. Welcome to the Hinted Neuron podcast. Well, I sincerely apologize for not releasing any episode in the past 3 weeks. I think that's the longest I've been away from the podcast. And apart from the fact that I got caught up in a lot of things this past 2 weeks or past 3 weeks, I figured that I needed to take a break to reevaluate some of my next steps for the podcast. My podcast has enjoyed a little bit of success and it has gotten quite a dedicated audience of consistent listeners. I'm really thankful that people out there care to listen to what I have to say and, the comments and the love and the support. I've gotten, really far since the start of the podcast. It just goes to show that there's great hunger for this type of content. And one of the primary reasons I started the podcast was to have conversations that people can relate to create a show where people can talk and share knowledge without any kind of political correctness. It's just a place where people can experience a little bit of common sense out of all the noise out there today. A place for people to discuss controversial issues in a nuanced manner without fear of being insulted or cancelled. My big dream is to have some of the best thinkers, creatives, and humans that a lot of people don't even know on this show so that I can pick their brains and have all that wisdom accessible in one platform. Well, I wouldn't quite say I've gotten there yet, but I just want to have these conversations because I love them and they're a way for me to see other people's perspective, to ask questions that bother me. That's why I bring people who are critical thinkers, people who care, people who genuinely want to share knowledge and story. Well, I guess the part that I genuinely don't love is editing and promotion of the podcast, but I've been releasing episodes since July, and from that time to now, I've been in charge of production, editing, and promotion. The podcast currently isn't monetized, majorly because I don't want to run any ads on the show. I figured the best way to make the podcast as original as possible, and for me to continue to engage in controversial topics as freely as I want to, is to completely not depend on any brands for monetization. While that's been said, I put up a link at hintedneuron.com/donate if you would like to support the show in any little way possible. Any money I receive would fully go into hiring someone to help with my social media and also podcast editing. I have a lot of topics and, a lot of conversations I want to have. There's so much I have planned. And right now, I think we need order in the world amidst all the chaos happening, gender wars, left and right biases, all the regular fights we see every day. Just this fact that we can't be one troubles me. We live in a world right now where things can be analyzed in a nuanced way. It's now either white or black. It's either you are pro or anti. I don't necessarily believe in that. And that's why I feel like having long-form conversations in real time brings back a little bit of sanity and calmness. It's one of the best and worst times to be alive right now. People are becoming more divided than ever. But I want you, people who listen to my podcast, to always ask yourself questions every time you're in doubt. Ask questions like, what makes sense? Do I belong to a mob? How often do I keep logical reasoning at the window and make decisions based on emotions? Why do I believe the things I believe? Why can't I have the courage to hear other people's opinion? Just like Energy said when she was on the podcast, and I paraphrase, constant introspection is necessary for all of us in our everyday lives. That's necessarily all I have to say right now. Till next week when I have a full-length conversation again. As always, thank you for listening, and I hope you don't miss me too much before I'm back. Thank you.